And it almost makes me think about the state of emotion psychology or affective neuroscience back 20 years ago, when psychologists and neuroscientists were wondering whether emotions were too fleeting and too vague to ever really be the topic of good research. And now we might be at a time where mental states or altered states, which of course people like Maslow and William James and so many others have talked about.
Maslow was deeply influenced by James.
Can actually measure these things, in the same sort of way that now psychologists and neuroscientists don't think twice about being able to measure emotions.
Right. Well, man, that's why there needs to be a new field, like transcendence, like that. There needs to be a new field of psychology that like appreciates that just as much as like effective neuroscience is well accepted, right? No one especially actually you could put any word before neuroscience and it'll become instantly accepted, right?
But right now, if you said mental state neuroscience or altered state neuroscience, it's sort of right on the border, of respectability.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
These technological advances seem like they're incredibly important in order to study different states of mind. The physiological aspects.
I couldn't agree more. I wrote an article, I think it was called Must One Risk Madness to Achieve Genius? And I argued in there that creativity involves, this is why I'm so one of the reasons why I'm so interested in creativity, because I really do believe it requires an altered state of consciousness. So in this article I reviewed the latest biological research on the brain states of creative people, as well as the dopamine production of creative people. We should talk about dopamine in a second as well, because I think it's so relevant to both of our interests. But I argue, but all the research seems to converge on the idea that in order to be creative, you must risk madness. Like you must be able to be willing or open to go there, but also have the capacity to return to reality. So that's what's the difference between someone we put in a mental institution versus someone who makes the encyclopedia.
And just to be clear, going there to you is you mean an altered state?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have to go, and you see that in the brain. You see the brain networks. You see so clearly that people who are come up with really creative ideas in the fMRI machine, they are more likely to resemble brain states of dreaming. People who are dreaming, people who even if you just follow them all throughout the day, they on average tend to have and the way it's phrased in the literature is an inability or difficulty suppressing activity in their imagination brain network. Well, it's all framing issue, right? What do you mean difficulty suppressing? It's like lighten up, you stuffy neuroscientist. What that research to me is suggesting is that these people aren't scared of embracing their like fantasy and things that might not be in touch with reality. They're brave. To me, that's being brave. That's not. Do you know what I mean?